This video is brought to you by Ridge Wallet. Stick around to hear more about how to acquire some of their amazing products at a discount. Okay, today I'm finally going to discuss the series of acquisitions that have recently taken place in the video game space because the topic is honestly far too big to ignore now. I want to make it 100% clear that there will be a hefty amount of my own speculation. There will be thoughts on the future, thoughts on individual deals, and thoughts on the industry at large, but holding true to what the title says, I believe that the acquisition wars in the video game industry have officially begun. To really explain this, I need to go over exactly what has been acquired and by whom over the past year. For starters, though it was announced in September of 2020, it was not actually finalized until March of 2021, Microsoft decided to acquire ZeniMax Media, which is the parent company of Bethesda Softworks. That meant that they secured the rights to Doom, Fallout, Starfield, Elder Scrolls, Dishonored, because they also got Arcane Studios in this deal, and more, but the major titles were Doom, Starfield, Fallout, and Elder Scrolls. That's acquisition number one, and when it happened, it was the second largest to date in the video game industry at large, sitting at a $7.5 billion price tag. They got beat by Tencent acquiring Supercell in 2016 or 2015, something like that, but that's not relevant for our time frame here. Next came Take-Two Interactive, who decided to buy Zynga in early January of 2022. For those that don't know, Zynga has a massive library of social media games like Farmville, Zynga Poker, Words with Friends, Match 3 puzzle titles, and more. Zynga is aimed at the mobile industry in particular, and mobile gaming is an explosive sector of the entire gaming industry that's received growing attention from nearly every single major publisher in recent years. Okay, time for today's video sponsor. A while ago, I partnered up with Ridge Wallets for a few promotional videos, and today I'm happy to say that once again, I'm able to bring a discount to the entire upper echelon community. This time, however, they have a bunch of brand new products, some of which they have generously sent to me, and all of them are excellent quality. Of course, the main thing they are known for is still their sleek industrial minimalist wallets, which have room for 12 cards plus cash and alternate between a clip and a strap, but now they also have pens, high-quality knives, and new designs to choose from ranging from Damascus to carbon fiber, and even topographical-looking stuff, which is really cool, and actual pictures. Ridge is confident in their product, and if you want to test that out for yourself, they offer a free 30-day trial. If it's not for you, you can just send it back. The right wallet is a big deal. You use it every single day, and Ridge is the right wallet to have. If you use the link down below and code UEG, you can get 10% off your entire order. Again, link down below, code UEG, for 10% off your entire order. Big thank you to Ridge for sponsoring the video. Something that many people might not be aware of, contrary to the larger acquisitions I'm about to discuss later on, is that Electronic Arts in April of 2021 finalized an acquisition of Glue Mobile at a cost of $2.1 billion. Not a world record, not by any stretch, but a significant purchase here within the past year aimed at the mobile industry, which radically changed the landscape in their favor. This one didn't hit the mainstream news cycle as hard, but it was actually a pretty big move and worth mentioning when we are about to discuss the acquisition wars of gaming. Interestingly enough, after the Zynga acquisition, which investors felt was overpriced, Take-Two witnessed a 13% decline in its share price during pre-market trading. It has since climbed back to effectively the same place it was before, but it's interesting to see that investors largely believe that this was a bad deal for Take-Two in terms of just raw pricing. Also, Zynga was acquired for $12.7 billion, making it the new historical benchmark in the video game space as the largest acquisition ever. That title didn't last very long. Soon after, as in barely a single week later, came the news that dominated YouTube for weeks, and kind of still is, when Microsoft announced that it will be acquiring Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion. That was immediately the largest gaming acquisition in history, giving access to legendary properties like Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Overwatch, and Candy Crush, because Activision Blizzard themselves had acquired King Digital in 2015 for $5.9 billion. That one might linger, that is Activision Blizzard being bought by Microsoft, as the biggest acquisition for quite some time. The price tag is pretty colossal on that, but we're still not done. Sony, whose share price actually fell as a direct result of this deal when people realized that incredibly popular franchises were set to be controlled by Microsoft now, was rumored to have some sort of response to this news, and despite the fact that they publicly claimed their next move had nothing to do with Activision or Microsoft, they revealed, less than 2 weeks later, that Bungie would be acquired for $3.6 billion. Bungie obviously being the studio behind the Destiny franchise and previously the company responsible for Halo. Now, Sony acquiring Bungie and Microsoft grabbing Activision Blizzard will obviously be the main headline news, at least they were for most of this time, but right smack dab in the middle of these two purchases, which were only separated by about 13 days to begin with, the Saudi Arabian government, through their investment arm called Savvy Gaming Group, bought the ESL and Faceit for $1.5 billion. Essentially, they purchased a lion's share of all the existing esports industry at large. And I haven't dug as deep into this particular one just yet, though I do kind of intend to if I keep finding little details, which I have been finding. But again, rapid fire billion or multi-billion, even multi-tens of billions of dollar acquisitions, they just keep on coming. As of right now, when I make this video, that's the end of our list in terms of publicly announced acquisitions that kind of fit our purposes. There are more, like Asmodee Digital, the leading publisher of board games, getting sold to Embracer Group for 2.7 billion euros in late December of 2021, so not that long ago. But Geoff Keighley, because that's not as relevant, right? There's a whole bunch of acquisitions all the time, but these are the ones that feel more relevant for our timeline today. Geoff Keighley, video game awards host and prominent industry figure, decided to state publicly on Twitter, quote, "Having heard from multiple people, as you might suspect, there are a few other big video game deals in final stages of negotiations. It's going to be an interesting year," end quote. Now, take that for what you will. Obviously, it's not a concrete indication of what or when, but I thought that his position in the video game space made it worth mentioning. Bottom line, it's abundantly clear that the acquisition wars have begun. So, understanding the record-breaking number and value of these recent purchases, I want to expand the discussion and look at the topic of antitrust. Antitrust law, or anti-monopoly law, is designed to prevent companies from dominating a specific industry by themselves and promote healthy economic competition. With Microsoft now set to full-scale acquire Activision Blizzard, it turns out that the FTC is going to evaluate whether or not they should be allowed to do so. That might sound utterly ridiculous for those with a traditional and puritanical view of capitalism, but yes, the government in the United States has a final say when it comes to large-scale acquisitions like this. For an example, we can look at Disney when it acquired Fox in 2019. Actually, the deal started in 2017, but there was a bidding war with Comcast and then some other hiccups along the way, so it didn't actually finalize until 2019. When Disney was finally approved for the acquisition, it came with a set of requirements. They didn't just get Fox full send, they were forced by the government to sell off 22 of the existing Fox properties, more specifically regional sports networks. Basically, the Justice Department said, yeah, okay, you can buy Fox, but only this, this, and this, and this, not those over there. You have to sell those. And Disney complied. Well, in the wake of Microsoft's industry record announcement, the FTC has gotten involved with an antitrust investigation, which some outlets are saying is a break from tradition, but actually it's not. It's completely normal. I only know that, by the way, because I watched the Hogue Law YouTube channel, which I will link down below in the description. He has incredible content. His comment section is also where I got the rather perfect example of Disney and Fox, so yeah, like a lot of help from that over there. He has really good work. It turns out that the Justice Department and the FTC routinely cooperate on antitrust cases and simply just trade off based on relevant experience. Effectively, there is nothing out of the ordinary here. Don't be fooled by headlines. But now I need to speculate. Microsoft, even if this deal were to be allowed in full, wouldn't even be the biggest industry figure, leading me to believe it will be allowed in full. It would come in third behind Sony and Tencent. I do not believe that there is grounds to deny this deal on the basis of antitrust, but it is possible, there's an outside chance, it's possible, that they will force Microsoft to divest individual properties, similar to Disney and Fox. If that were to be the case, it actually may not even happen right now, because the government can wait up to 5 years post-acquisition to reverse or modify the deal. At least, that's my understanding of how things work. I think they have that long to, make up their minds. Now, the reason I say these are the acquisition wars is because the first month of 2022, just January, has already had more than $85 billion in value changing hands, while consolidating to industry giants like Microsoft, Sony, and Take-Two Interactive. Throughout the entirety of 2021, according to Drake Star Partners, there was a little over $85 billion in volume, with over 1,000 individual transactions. In 1 month, the entire previous year has been surpassed, and Geoff Keighley seems to think that there are more big deals in the works. For a bit of my own speculation here, just general guesswork, according to what I can find and publicly available financial information on a multitude of different websites, both Microsoft and Sony have the spending capabilities to flat out acquire Ubisoft or Square Enix or Capcom or a variety of other companies if they felt the need. Of course, Microsoft has far more capital to play with when compared to Sony, but Sony is also in a position to absorb other publishers. Even some of the names that we right now, generally speaking, think of as main players in the space. They're not. They can be eaten, let's put it that way. Activision Blizzard, on its own, was being hammered with controversy in late 2021, which may have helped open the door, but Microsoft has been accelerating its plan to purchase a larger foothold in the video game market, and barring actual regulation of their methods, it is likely going to succeed, at least for now. Again, speculation, but a lot of people seem to be concerned about exclusivity. Personally, I'm not. The reason I'm not is because Microsoft has, for a long time now, cared much more about their entire sort of ecosystem than they do about specific console sales and driving purchases through exclusivity. They want you to buy Game Pass, not necessarily an Xbox. And though they certainly do compete with Sony from a hardware perspective, at least to some degree, they are more interested in having you join their network of coexisting systems than they are with like stealing PS4 and PS5 players. Let's also remember that Sony are the ones who stuck it to Epic Games over crossplay, not Xbox. Sony are historically the company that want to maintain exclusive control and back away from collaboration. They are looking to gain a foothold now in the live service market, I believe, and expand their subscription package, which they're just now starting to really work on, hence the Bungie purchase, which fits very well with that kind of modus operandi, in my opinion. But we should be a lot less worried about Microsoft making Call of Duty exclusive, and a lot more worried about Sony making Destiny 2 exclusive, or timed exclusive, or something along those lines. The acquisition wars will be a period where big companies buy smaller companies to stop smaller companies from existing, so that the big companies can just own everything. This leads to rapid consolidation, everything is controlled by a few industry behemoths eventually, and maybe it gets regulated down the line, maybe it doesn't, but what we see now in 2022 is a very rapid acceleration of this particular tactic. Where it stops, I have no idea. Who's next, I also have no idea, but my gut kind of tells me that someone is going to grab Ubisoft by the end of the year. I don't know why, it's in my brain that Ubisoft is going to be acquired by a larger publisher. Maybe Tencent, maybe Sony, probably not Take-Two, probably Microsoft, I would say, if I had to guess. I don't know why, it's just my instinct. I could be completely off base here, so don't take that as gospel. Like, it could easily be wrong. But anyway, that's it. If you want to support, check out the links down below. Hopefully Patreon or Locals. If you enjoy the content, consider those platforms as a way to diversify out of AdSense purely on YouTube. There is Odyssey, which is a YouTube alternative completely. There are a couple other YouTubers to check out. Merchandise, social media, Ridge wallets, of course. Go acquire one of those. And a few more things, but I'll cut it there and stop rambling. As always, thank you all for watching, and have a nice night.